He is Omar. I imagine we are the substitutes, and today we are looking at our crystal balls and speculating and matchmaking. Let's say things go awry for both Arsenal and Tottenham over the next couple of years. Is it possible that Jose at the Emirates becomes a thing? Is it obvious? Is it crazy? Omar, tell me, why does it work? Why would Jose at the Emirates work?
It's simply because he's a winner. And when you look at Arsenal under Arteta, after they lost to Manchester United, or they won against Manchester United, which they were still singing about, they went on a downward spiral. Whereas you look at someone like Jose Mourinho, he tends to take clubs that either are the underdog and he tends to bring them back to the top, which Arsenal sorely need right now because they're fighting for a place in their Europa League, and this is a team that consistently made the Champions League. I know that we always made fun they were a top four club, but they made the Champions League. They were the Invincibles. They used to challenge sometimes, and now I don't even recognize this club. And I think Jose Mourinho is a person who will take this club no matter what and drag them back into the Champions League, drag them back into winning ways. That's why I think it does kind of work. And he doesn't also care about managing a rival club. He's shown that. He's shown that when he switched from Chelsea to
Well,
Tottenham.
that's
So when asked like why you said you'd never manage Spurs, what changed? Chelsea sacked me. So like I think for that sort of thing, like he
he's
could take a club
definitely
like Arsenal and he wouldn't care and he would just take them back to the top if given the opportunity. It's a hypothetical, but it could work. What do you think?
he's definitely proven to be a top six
Hmm.
mercenary. He's been United. He's done Chelsea twice now. He's done Tottenham. So he doesn't, as long as they're top six, he doesn't mind Inter back in the day,
Yeah.
back in the day. He doesn't mind top teams. So that's one thing. I think he loves the city of
Mm.
London. I think he genuinely gets along with the weather, the people, the media. As much as he says he hates them, I think he loves them. And that's generally what I feel about him in London, just crawling around the city of London. Definitely, you touched on the other points. He would bring what has sorely been lacking, um, a defensive
Yeah.
backbone, practical winning, just sort of practical, park the bus, let's 1-0 win, and tactical intelligence. This year, Arteta has shown he's still a little bit. That whole squad of OGS, Frank Lampard, Arteta, and even Steven G, the jury's still out on all of them as managers, as top managers at least. And so I think he would bring that tactical intelligence. The other thing is, Jose, as you said, he loves being an underdog. He loves a challenge, and he loves trolling.
Yeah.
I think he does enjoy
He does
trolling.
that so well.
So I think it works for a number of reasons from Jose's perspective, and even Arsenal's perspective. I think his trolling works. Like there's a hidden desire because of his trolling there. Now, tell me why it doesn't work.
He
Shatter
implodes.
my dreams. Tell me why.
Every third season, there's always a thing about Jose Mourinho. We saw it at his time as United very recently. With the exceptions of Porto and Inter, he generally falls apart in the third season, whether he's at Chelsea twice, he's at Man United spectacularly. Um, he does generally tend to fall apart, even Real Madrid. That's number one. Number two, I think, is also linked to it. He doesn't quite fit the profile of the club. And I know he joined Man United, and Sir Bobby Charlton, he said before he doesn't think he fits the profile of the club, and they signed him. And they almost fell apart. They were a top six club at the time, and it just didn't feel right. Like we supported him because he was a manager, but it didn't feel right. I feel like that's something that he'll have to overcome at Arsenal as well. He might have to win over that fan base who have hated him for a long time, and I think he'll be at odds with them. And the final thing I think is going to be quite telling. Arteta just got the like some approval on transfers. I don't think Jose Mourinho is going to get that. I think they won't give him that because of his profile. And I think that links back to my other point. Like because of his profile, because he doesn't fit the club, if he ever was to join, I think it would be under a lot of conditions. So personally, I don't think that's why it could work. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fair. He does definitely have a prickly past with this club in particular. I mean, if you go back and you see some of his diss tracks that he laid down on Arsene Wenger back in the day, specialist in failure. That's right up there with Ether and Hit 'Em Up. I don't know how you get past that mentally. Definitely, there's a prickly past, but I would argue that that prickly past, that hatred, is a double-edged sword. He loves converting people who hate him. So I would argue that that would maybe even be for him a personal bonus, that maybe I can get Gunners to start chanting Jose Jose. Definitely in terms of the transfer policy and the lack of funds and the lack of control in terms of everything. I think Jose requires carte blanche to just sort of do whatever he wants, who he wants. He's used to working with billionaires. Kroenke is a billionaire who doesn't spend. Uh, and definitely, I think that would be a hurdle that would be almost impossible to overcome. Having said that, with Jose, after the Jose at United, that once that happened, I realized for me personally, anything is possible with this guy. He is the special one. He can sort of like, he'll figure it out. If they do come knocking, he'll have his conditions and they'll match them, I think. I think the other reason it might not work, and this is just sort of completely random, is Brexit. I just don't know the future implications or consequences, intended, unintended, of how it works later on in a couple of years, whether like we're still going to see this sort of European influence in the English Premier League, honestly.
Well, there was one thing that you kind of there are two things that you kind of mentioned. One, the Kroenke purse strings. Even Daniel Levy, by the way, was quite tight with his purse strings, and Jose managed to convince him, so he might be able to do that. But there was one other thing that you mentioned right now, which I think kind of works. You mentioned his jabs, specialist in failure, and I want to kind of link that back to fitting the profile of the club. Do you think he himself will look at Arsenal and say, "I don't want to go to this club. They're a specialist in failure"? Not entirely sure. So I don't know. Like I just wanted.
It's possible. It's possible, but I don't think so. I think that's the thing. I think he enjoys the challenge of overcoming, of overturning that narrative, of being the one who changed that narrative, of being the one, the special one, the chosen one, the one who did it. That like, look, I went to this club and I managed to do it. By the way, I just want to mention here, Porto and Inter, he jumped ship early. He got lucky. Like he was gonna hit that next year, like capitulation was gonna happen. He just jumped ship early enough that like, I want to round out the video and tell me what's your bold prediction for this scenario. Will we ever see Jose Mourinho coach Arsenal, manage Arsenal?
I hope so because I always like laughing at Arsenal fans. So I think if it happens, it would just be egg on their faces. The trauma of someone like Drogba hounding them will always be there. So I think when they say Jose, that will always be something that I hope it happens just simply because I can look at all my Arsenal friends and go, you hated this guy and now look at you. Which is what happened to United fans, to be fair. Like
That's what I was gonna say. I hope it does happen. I think he's gonna have a year or two good years left at Spurs. I think he'll join PSG right after that for the immediate winning thing, and then I think after PSG he ends up at Arsenal.
all right.
That's our thoughts. That's our thoughts. Everyone comment. Let us know what you think. Do you see Jose at the Emirates? And if you do, would he be good? Would he be a good fit? Would he be a fit culturally? All of the stuff we've talked about. Please let us know your thoughts.
All right, like and subscribe, guys.
Have a good one. Like and subscribe, everyone. Peace out.